You are sitting in the traffic again. You have been in the same spot for 45 minutes and there is a train station 2 miles away which is half empty. So why are you still in this car? Not because you want to be, because someone made sure you had no other choice. And that decision, made decades before you were born, is now costing this country $5 trillion a year. This is that story. Here is something most people don't know. 100 years ago, American cities were actually pretty easy to get around in. Los Angeles had one of the best streetcar system in the world. So did Chicago. You could hop on, pay a few cents and get almost anywhere. Then cars showed up and everything changed. Within 20 years, almost every single streetcar system in America was gone. And what filled the gap was asphalt. Miles and miles of it. Now you might think, okay, people just like cars better. Simple as that. But the real reason America went all in on highways had nothing to do with your morning commute. It had to do with nuclear bombs. Dwight Eisenhower was not thinking about traffic when he pushed for the highway system. During World War II, he watched Germany move soldiers and supplies across the country at crazy speeds using their highway network, the Autobahn. American roads at the time were a mess by comparison. Then the Cold War started and Eisenhower had a new problem. If the Soviets ever attacked, how do you get millions of people out of major cities? His answer was highways. Wide, fast roads that could move armies or evacuate entire populations. And to get it built, the government offered to pay 90 cents of every dollar. States just had to say yes, and they did. 47,000 miles of highway, the biggest building project in human history. But here is the part they left out of the history books. When engineers sat down to decide where the highways would go, they had choices to make, and they kept making the same choice over and over again. Overtown Miami, one of the most alive, most happening black communities in the South. The Interstate 95 ran straight through the middle of it. The Rondo neighborhood in Minnesota, thousands of families, hundreds of businesses gone. In this case, Interstate 94 cut right through it. These were not empty fields. These were people's whole lives. And if you look at the maps, the highways almost always seem to find the same kinds of neighborhoods, the ones they had already been pushed around, already been ignored. 475,000 families were forced out of their homes to make room for highways. Nearly 500,000 people, most of them never got back what they lost. So America built the greatest road network on earth. Once highways made, it was easy to live far from the city. People moved out. Developers bought cheap land on the edges of cities, built neighborhoods, built shopping centers, built everything you needed as long as you owned a car. Then cities locked it in with rules. Homes go here, storage go there, everything separated far apart. Suddenly, walking to the grocery store was not just hard. In a lots of places, it was basically impossible. Today, America has more cars than people who can legally drive them. In Netherlands, most people don't even need a car to live a full normal life. Same in Japan, same in most of Europe. But in America, the full cost of being this dependent on cars runs about $5 trillion a year. That is not just gas, that is roads, parking lots, hospital bills from crashes, lost time in traffic, pollution, land that could be parks or homes but is instead parking. 5 trillion every year. So here is the question everyone is asking. Why don't we just build trains? California has been trying to build a high-speed train since 2008. It was supposed to cost $33 billion, but it now costs over $100 billion and it is still not done. Buses don't work when the nearest stop is a 20-minute walk across a 6-lane road with no sidewalks and no shade. It is a trap. You can't run good transit where people are spread out. But people are spread out because there was never any transit. And then there is the money side. Car companies, oil companies and road builders spend millions every year making sure Washington keeps building the roads instead of rails. General Motors, Firestone and Standard Oil were taken to court in 1949 for working together to shut down streetcar system all across America. They were found guilty and the punishment $5,000. They helped wipe out public transit in dozens of American cities and paid less than the cost of a used Honda Civic, only 5,000 USD. Now, some people say electric cars solve all of this, but here is the thing: swapping a gas car for an electric one does not fix the fact that your nearest grocery store is a 15-minute drive away, and also doesn't give you back your mornings. It just makes the same broken setup slightly cleaner. Do you think America can actually break free from cars, or is it just too late? Tell me below, because I genuinely think people are more split on this than you would expect.